I'm very pleased to be interviewing David Cooperstein, who's CMO of Simul Media. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's start with your background. How did you get to where you are today?
Well, I have a fairly wide array of experiences. Some of them relate to the media business specifically. Some of them relate to being on the marketing side. I've always sort of had a mix of either being an outsider looking in or an insider looking out, and that's what I'm doing here today. I've had 20 years of experience in the digital marketing realm, starting back in 1994, recommending direct marketing strategies on the internet to a negative option publisher. And have sort of wended my way through being an analyst and being a CMO of a digital media company, which all led to me being here and trying to help Simul Media explain its value proposition to the CMOs who have a business need to accomplish.
David, can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing specifically at Simul Media?
So my role at Simul Media is, as Chief Marketing Officer, is to think about a couple of different things. One, of course, is how is Simul Media positioned in the marketplace. And the marketplace is one that is rapidly changing, particularly the TV landscape. So my role is to help the world, but primarily the U.S., understand what's happening in the TV landscape and how that impacts the way TV media will be bought in the future. But the way we do that is a couple of different things. The first is to get in front of the marketers, because the marketers are the ones that have a business reason to change the way they're buying TV advertising. The second is to talk to the agencies that get our approach best, which are typically the digital agencies who have not bought TV in the past. So we're doing some very successful work at getting the agencies to understand that this should be thought of more as a digital approach to TV advertising as opposed to a traditional TV buying effort. And the third thing is to help, as any CMO should, build the confidence in the sales team that what our product offers is unique and differentiated in a market that historically we've been the only one out there, and now we've got competitors both from a tech side as well as from some of the major media companies.
Who do you think your competitors are? Who are your competitors?
Yeah, so the way I think about our competitive landscape is in three buckets. One is the agencies who are sort of our friends because they're the ones that execute the deals with us, but they also have an approach to TV buying that we compete with. So on some levels, we are competing against the status quo as represented by some of the more traditional agencies. The second group are tech companies like ours that focus on using technology to determine where TV advertising should be placed. And then the third category is the media sellers, not on a head-to-head basis, but in the context of we're all trying to achieve the same thing, which is to get the advertisers to use our approach to advertising to deliver results.
So if I understand you, you're approaching the television landscape now as more on a digital level, which I think is fairly visionary since connected TVs are starting to make their way through the consumer landscape. What do you think in terms of TV measurement, what do you think will be the timeline for television to have more digital measurement than traditional measurement?
Yeah, so the interesting thing that's happened to TV in the last couple of years is that digital has provided pressure on the CMO to show ROI, and TV has not been able to deliver those same results. But at the same time, we discovered this great treasure trove of data called set-top box data that has allowed us to do varying levels of measurement. So companies like Rentrak, Nielsen, have access to this census level type of information that sort of helps establish a new way of looking at measurement than the panel-based approach that Nielsen had put forward historically. The other issue is that in a digital context, if you look at pure digital media, you have the ability to measure individuals taking action, whether it's clicking on a banner ad or entering a search or saying something in social. That ability to do that in digital is another pressure point on getting TV to make some changes. So we view our digital approach to encompass using that set-top box data to place the TV media very directly. So going from an impression level to a business impact level. Where I think measurement is going to go is that eventually the third-party companies are going to get further along in this census level ability to track data. And ultimately, their nirvana, or I would say the must-have in the industry, is that the metrics for digital media and the metrics for TV media are directly aligned. I don't think that's going to be the GRP, I think it needs to be at a person level or at least a household level, because that is where the understanding of efficiency comes from and effectiveness of advertising.
So I was saying off camera that you've preempted my next question, which is what do you think the common metrics will be? But ultimately, doesn't it have to come back to ROI for it to be of interest to the agencies? And if so, how should we do that?
Yeah, so there's two parts to that question. In terms of a metric, the metric has to be at a level where we can measure individuals, because people want to know where they can specifically place media. So I think that the digital version, which is uniques, and the TV version, which is audience or individual or household, need to somehow find a common ground, whether that's individual viewership or what have you. So the key thing about getting to an individual level is the ability to measure not just the media output, but actually the business outcome of the media that's being placed. And I can't think of a single marketer in my last 7 years of working directly with CMOs that has not said that their goal is profitable growth. They don't care if it's digital or TV. They want to be able to measure the behaviors and the performance of their spending. So we hear a lot more marketers say, I want to tie this to sales, and sales has other proxies like search traffic or site traffic, or it may be a cost per action that they want to achieve. They just need to show volume of deal flow. But ultimately, those are the metrics that matter most to the client side of the business, which is how is my business actually growing because of the media that we're placing. And so the pressure to show ROI, whether that's a return on ad spend in terms of dollars coming in the door after that replace the dollars that went out, or a return on some other metric that is not a proxy metric but is actually a real business metric, that's where I think ROI is going in the minds of the CMOs. And they don't care which medium does it or how they work together, as long as they do work together and they can show that they're able to prove that their allocation of media was ROI positive.